Good morning, everybody. As you come on, I want to invite you to please turn on your camera. That is one of the coolest and I think best parts of Zoom. And we spend so much of our time hiding on the internet, and this is not a time to do that. This is a time to start building your community, your global community. I am very proud of how positive our community is. So I am going to invite you to turn on your camera. I haven't got ready yet either today, so no excuses, okay? Unless you're like driving or something, I understand. Okay, this is a live webinar. So in live webinars, sometimes there's little hiccups and sometimes I have tech difficulties. So hopefully I don't, but for your streaming pleasure, make sure that you have other apps that like re-up themselves, like Facebook, Instagram, etc., closed right now, because that'll make your internet power a little bit better. And also it'll allow you to focus. You have chosen to sign up for this. So do yourself a favor. I mean, I have major ADHD, so I'm reminding myself this. I'm just really literally speaking from experience. Like, turn off all the other apps, give yourself these 30, 45 minutes probably to really dive into my very favorite topic. So as you come on, will you please in the chat, let us know where in the world you are from? It really, I'm kind of a dork still when it comes to this kind of thing. I think it's amazing that we have the ability to connect from all over the world at the same time. It will never be lost on me. It'll always be something that I value so very much. So tell me where you're from. I'd love to see. It's 10:05. I'm going to just give it another minute or so to let people come in. We had maybe 300 people sign up for this webinar. So we're probably getting to about the amount of people who really usually show up percentage-wise. I'm freezing, by the way. I don't know why. See, anyway, you don't need to know about my weird habits. So we're going to talk about marketing today. We're going to talk about my strategy for marketing. And I will always be completely honest with you. Of course, you will learn something at the end of this. If you do what I tell you to do, or if you take the advice that I give you, you could have a content plan for the rest of the year or for 6 months, however you decide to use it. I speak at lots of conferences. I do lots of webinars about marketing. And the funny thing is that I would say probably only 50% of people that go to these things actually take the advice and implement them. So you decide if you're going to be the one who's going to actually implement the advice, or if you're going to be the one who's complaining about, oh, I didn't get so many likes on Instagram when you didn't actually implement the advice that I gave you. So just cold, hard truth, going to be totally honest. The other thing that I will be honest with you about is that I do always have total integrity when I come into one of these things. I am going to ask you to dive deeper with me and to, I'm going to give you the opportunity to become a more active part of my community. And yes, I am going to tell you about my mastermind. So that will come at the end though. So you will learn something. You will learn something that you can implement right away. Like I said, months, even a year's worth of content if you wanted, but also full disclosure, I do always have something that I want you to invest in at the end. That would be a lie if I told you that I wasn't. Most webinars, that's the case, right? I am a woman of complete integrity. You can always count on me for that. Okay, let's talk about marketing. I'm so excited. Thank you for telling me where you're from. Thank you for those of you that have turned on your cameras. There aren't many of you that have. You are being that typical photographer that's afraid to show your face. Don't be afraid to show your face. We are photographers. We should be comfortable with our own face as well. Just saying. I'm going to tell a little bit more about that in a second. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen. Hold on. Let me make sure that I've got the right stuff open here. Minutes. Like I said, this is an actual live webinar. So I have to get all my tech stuff in alignment as I'm working through it with you. I got that one and I got that one. Okay, perfect. Perfection. Okay. I am here for questions at the end too. So I don't always see the questions in the chat. If I try to monitor both, then I can't give my full attention to the slides that I'm about to present, but I will answer any questions that you have at the end. It's the best thing about being live, right? Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen. All right. So this is what I call the photographer's guide to compassionate marketing. Now, I coined this term during the COVID crisis because you all remember, or maybe some of you weren't in business at the time, all of the sudden it felt like our industry was going to fall apart, right? It felt like maybe no one was ever going to want photos taken. And I decided to show up anyway, in the way that I always show up. So this marketing strategy that I have been using for over 10 years. And I didn't have a name for it though. I didn't have a structure for it. I just knew what I was doing, and I knew what I was doing worked. After COVID, I really realized this marketing strategy is completely effective because 2020 was my highest grossing year for my photography business. So for actually taking photos. I have gone on to speak about this actual strategy at the Portrait Masters Conference at WPPI and to hundreds of photographers all over the planet via Zoom. And I know that it works. I also have worked with 131 people in my high-level mastermind. And this is essentially what I teach, but much more in depth, and it works for them as well. So I think it's safe to say that I'm not talking out of my ears right now, that this actually works. And I just feel really proud about that. And I don't know why I made it up this word, compassionate marketing. I think it's because I knew that we needed to show up in a way that was compassionate during a very difficult time. And now it's just kind of what I call it. So, all right, who am I? So who here is new to me? If this is your first time seeing one of my
I'm on a phone call right now.
raise your hand. I'm curious. But my name is Elena S Blair. Hey, what's up? And I have been a photographer, so actually in business, taking pictures of other people for 13 years. This is my 13th year of business. I still am very much in the game, even though I am an educator. So my biggest year, the most clients that I took on was in 2019 when I took on 180 different clients. That was insane. I wouldn't recommend it. It was a weird year for me. I was going through a divorce. I happened to have a lot of time on my hands. And so I was filling that hole with working, but I do an average of 100 sessions a year now. Last year I did about 80, and I'm trying to bring it down to about 75 this year, just because I am focusing on my consulting and education part of my business, but I am very much still in the game. I am a family and newborn photographer, and I also have a fine art portrait segment of my business. So I have 4 children. I am a very busy mom as well. And you're here because you are now familiar with my education platform. I do have my own education platform where I teach primarily family and newborn photographers, but just people who like to photograph people, how to have a profitable and meaningful business, how to have systems in their business, how to pose, how to run a family photo shoot, how to run a newborn photo shoot, how to run a boutique school photography segment of their business. So I've been at the education stuff for about 10 years. So I've been at it a while. So that's me in a nutshell. I also am 100% Latina. I talk really, really fast. I have ADHD, and I am head over heels in love with this part of my business. I'm head over heels in love with taking photos of people, and I'm head over heels in love with helping photographers thrive. So my hope is that by the end of this 30 minutes or so together, it might be a little bit more, you will have a new marketing perspective.
Quiet, guys.
That is my main goal for you. Now, do I want you to actually have a plan? Yes, of course, but you will have a new marketing perspective. So when I say raise your hand, I'm not like just talking out of my ears. I'm trying not to say something else. And thank you for those of you who have turned your cameras on. The rest of you, turn your cameras on. I want you to actually raise your hand. And there's that little Smurf hand, like you can see your little emojis. You can raise that. Raise your hand if you aren't consistently booking clients, and you're doing this to build your community so that everyone cannot feel alone here. Raise your hand if you are booking clients, but they don't appreciate your work, or you never see them again. They don't come back. Raise your hand if you're getting price shoppers only. Okay, all of us have been here in this. This is a safe space, by the way. Raise your hand if maybe you're feeling burnt out. Maybe you love to blame your lack of success on our saturated market. Okay, safe space. Our market's so saturated. People have been saying that since the beginning of time, by the way. Raise your hand if you fear that your underpriced competition means that you will never be able to command the price you want to charge. That's another favorite, by the way. That's been going on. I've been in the industry for 13 years, a little bit longer. I wasn't in business at the beginning. People have been complaining about these things since the end of time. If any of those things sounded like you, it means that you aren't marketing yourself effectively, you don't have a plan, or you simply don't understand what marketing is. You are probably focusing on selling and not marketing. We have been complaining, our industry has been complaining about these things since the beginning of time. And let me tell you, your lack of clients has nothing to do with your pricing structure. It has nothing to do with your underpriced competition. It has nothing to do with our economy. I started my business during a recession and I weathered COVID crisis in the whatever we're going through now. I'm very successful still. I know thousands and thousands of photographers who also are. So those things are all excuses. And it really probably means that you actually don't understand what marketing is and you don't know how to do it effectively. Or it could also just simply mean that you aren't being consistent and that your messaging isn't clear. So I've worked with 131 people very closely and I do a full brand review for them. And they'll say, I don't know why I'm not getting clients. And I'm like, well, you don't have a website. You're not on social media. You're not on Pinterest. You don't have any presence at all. Or you did it once and thought that that was supposed to work and never did anything ever again. You have to be consistent. Your messaging has to be very clear. So don't worry, I'm going to get into this a little bit more and make it a little more, easy to follow. So it is not effective to use trendy marketing strategies. So if you're here researching how to use Reels for your business and learning the latest dance, sorry, Charlie, it's not going to work. That's not going to work. If you are copying someone else's exact marketing strategy, it's not going to work. You don't know what their needs are. You don't know what area of the world they live in. You don't know what their income base is. You don't know anything about what they need. So why are you copying them? If you are throwing money on ads without proper training, you are not effectively marketing yourself. If you are relying only on word of mouth, you are not effectively marketing yourself. Relying on word of mouth only is relying on your clients to do your job for you, and that's never going to work. Trust me. So, but first, if this is the one thing that you let go of today, I will feel like I've done my job. Let's forget about vanity numbers. Vanity numbers means the amount of followers that you have on social media, the amount of likes that you get on any particular post. Those numbers just make you feel good about yourself. I know plenty of photographers. I've been in the biz a long time. I go to a lot of big conferences. I know plenty of photographers who have 100,000 followers and do not have a profitable business. So those numbers are what we like to call vanity numbers, and they do not pay the bills and they do not ensure profitability and they do not ensure long-term success. So we're not going to talk about that today because those things do not matter. I promise. Most full-time photographers only need 50 to 200 clients per year to be profitable. So why are you focusing on marketing strategies that focus on getting you thousands of followers on social media? When you change your perspective, oh, I don't need 1,000 likes on this post. I only need to reach 50 people, 50 humans. All of those vanity numbers, all of that stress goes by the wayside. Your underpriced competition doesn't matter anymore. What your competition's doing at all doesn't matter anymore. The saturation of the industry doesn't matter anymore. There are, 7 billion people on this planet? Trust me, you can find 50 who want you to take their pictures. So I want you to stop thinking about vanity numbers. An effective long-term marketing strategy starts with connection. Now, for those of you that are new to me, you haven't heard me talk about this. If you have been in my ether for a long time, I talk about connection in all areas of my life. Connection over perfection. Connection is the cornerstone of my marketing strategy. Connection is how I run my education platform. I'm here to connect, actually, with people. I don't want to throw noodles at the wall and just hope for random clients to come my way. I'm looking to connect with clients who are going to appreciate me, who want to work with me, and who will pay what I want them to pay. And if you start with connection, you rarely have to sell. So, hold on, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'll get there in a minute. So my strategy creates connection so that my clients come back year after year. I like to say that I have a legacy business. So from the months this year, 2023, from right now through the end of the year, I'm only seeing returning clients and I have zero room on my calendar. I'm actually just booking my associates now. My calendar's been booked for months. So I want that type of long-term success for you, and I can teach you how to do it. Connection, the awesome thing about creating a marketing strategy that starts with connection is that it creates client satisfaction and artist satisfaction. This takes the gross out of marketing. It takes the yuck out of marketing. You're no longer out there you're not standing on the street corner yelling at any person who will let you take their picture. You are directly speaking to those people who value what it is that you have to offer and want to pay you for it. And not only want to pay you for it, they want to hang out with you for an hour, they like you, they know you, they appreciate you. This is the marketing strategy that I'm talking about. It's so much more meaningful. It's long-term. It works. Okay. So Elena, please just stop babbling about connection and tell me what the heck compassionate marketing is. I'm going to share with you a video that my friend Yan Palmer, most of you probably know her. If you don't know her, you should go check her out. I'm letting these people in from the waiting room. I want to share you a video that she made, and it was I was like, oh, finally somebody hit the nail on the head for me of what I'm talking about, because this can be a high level marketing strategy and hard to give form to. So I'm going to play this video for you.
No, I'm sorry. What were the rules though? The rules, I need the rules because I need to succeed. Yes, deep down inside, I'm a creative being, but I need guaranteed success. Yes, I know that my marketing sounds like a ripoff of everything else that exists, but the thing about those people is they've succeeded. They succeed like that. Yeah, so just tell me what to do. Like a bullet point, like A, B, C, D. They don't want that. I need to actually, did you say something about my heart? Like original marketing? Oh God, it's gonna be rough.
Okay, so I love this because you're here because you're a high achiever. That's people who are high achievers and who want this whole photography thing to work. They seek out education. Mute yourself. They seek out education. They are here. You are here because you want to learn. But what the problem is, though, with a lot of us who are high achievers like this, is that we say, well, just tell me how to do it. I want you to give me A, B, C, D. I want you to give me step by step. This is why people sell things like this, right? They say, I have a blueprint for you. I have a step-by-step plan, whatever. I do it too. I do it to get people into my platform. But the truth of the matter is that that's not what marketing is. Marketing is unique to each and every individual brand and business, and you cannot copy someone else's exact strategy. This is why when you copy somebody's reel on Instagram, sure, you're going to get like 5,000, maybe you get 5,000 likes. Ooh, you went viral. Cool. That's not a marketing strategy. That is not a marketing strategy. And also selling is not a marketing strategy. So constantly showing up wherever it is that you show up saying, 5 sessions left, I have this special, blah, blah, blah. It's annoying. We're all sick of it. We're all sick of getting sold to. Marketing is different. Being a good photographer isn't enough. Sorry, Charlie. I know a lot of very, very talented artists who don't understand marketing and who don't understand business, and they are not still here today. Their businesses do not survive. And it's a shame, right? It's a shame. So, and this is why sometimes you wonder, like, why is that person so successful? And this is hopefully you're not always talking crap about your peers, but once in a while you see someone's work pop up, they're killing it in business and you're like, God, they're not even that great at photography. It's because they understand marketing. Promise. So let me tell you the secret. Those of you here, and I'm looking at a lot of names because most of you don't show your face, you are what makes your brand and your art unique. The beating heart behind the business is what will make you successful. That's the key to success. I actually know it. I know the key to success. Being authentically yourself, showing up authentically as yourself, and sharing about your business in a meaningful way is how you will find long-term success and profitability. But unfortunately, it takes time to figure all of that out, to map all that out, and it's not super easy. So I'm here to help try to break that down for you. So compassionate marketing delivers relevant, useful information that connects to your ideal client in a way that focuses on serving them before selling to them. I'm going to say that again. Compassionate marketing delivers relevant, useful, meaningful information that connects to your ideal client in a way that focuses on serving them before selling them. Serving them before selling to them. Okay, I'm going to give you another example of a beautiful use of compassionate marketing. I have no affiliation with the company Uber. I don't know anybody who works there, but during COVID, they aired this ad, and this ad is compassionate marketing embodied. Get ready to cry a little bit. Sorry if I make you cry. I don't mean to, but you know. Thank you for staying home for those who can't. They're a company that relies on us leaving the house, right? And during the COVID crisis, they showed the F up by saying, and they spent money on ads. Now, I'm not saying you should spend money on ads, but during the COVID crisis, I showed up. I was like, I am going to continue to share about my business. I do know people who stopped, and I do know people who had a hard time coming back after that. You have to continue to show up. You have to continue to show up. Now, thankfully, we're out of that, but this is just like such a I love this example because this is what I'm talking about. They're not saying, hey, but when you come back, I'm going to give you 20% off of Uber. When you come back, you should ride 5 times and you'll get a free one. They're not doing that. They're not selling to you. They're sharing their brand story. They're sharing their why, and they're staying front of mind. This is what you have to do as a photographer. Marketing is not selling, period. End of story. I remember when I learned this, I had already been in business. I was like, what? My brain literally exploded. I was doing it all wrong. I was constantly, I have this mini session event and this thing that I'm selling, and I have 4 sessions left, and I'm going to do a summer sale and a fall sale, sale. I didn't understand it. Now I figured it out quickly because I went outside of the photography industry to learn about marketing. Thankfully, marketing is not selling. If this is the second, if you first, 2 things, if you learn that vanity numbers don't matter and that marketing is not selling, you learned something today. And I hope that hopefully that will change things for you. Compassionate marketing shares what you do and why you do it with exactly who you want to work with. What, why, and who are probably the most important parts of a marketing strategy, the most essential parts. And you're like, well, duh, Elena, I'm a photographer. Thanks for the hot tip. No. That's not what I'm talking about. Every single one of us does something different. We all see the world differently. I just hosted a really big photography mastermind retreat last week, and you get 50 people at the exact same shoot with the exact same lighting, with the exact same gear, and we all take a different picture. That's magic. That's your magic. And why you're here, we'll talk about that in a sec. So compassionate marketing is about sharing and mute. Who keeps on muting this? This shouldn't even be possible. Compassionate marketing is about sharing and storytelling and serving to create a long-term brand connection. Here's the truth of this one, guys. There is no quick fix. So you can use someone else's marketing strategy, and you're probably going to be able to wheel in 10 clients, maybe 5, I don't know, but they're not probably going to be lifers because they're not connected to you. And what I want for you is to create long-term connection with your clients. Now, even if you are a commercial photographer or a wedding photographer or another genre that I don't do, this works for those types of photographers as well. I know because I've helped them. You want to create a brand connection that is long-term. So how do I know this works? I know you want results. And how do you know that this works? Well, I'm going to tell you a little story. In 2019, I get an email from the Facebook. And I thought I was like getting scammed because we all know that those things happen, right? But I looked into it because it actually had like a real Facebook email. And I got an email from an engineer, corporate engineer, saying that they wanted me to come and speak to their engineers here in Seattle to explain to them why my engagement was so high with a $0 ad spend. So I don't, if you may or may not know this, but average engagement on social media, like good, you're doing great if you get 1 to 3% of your followers seeing and engaging with your stuff. That's great. That's all I aim for, to be honest. My engagement is more like 10 to 20%, depending on the post, depending on the day, the post, whatever. So they wanted me to come in and talk to them about it. They actually noticed that my small business was basically beating the algorithm. Now, I'm not here to teach you how to beat algorithms because I think that's a really silly thing to say, but essentially that is what was happening. And this was a long time ago. So the actual company that we have to use if we're going to use social media noticed that I was able to create engagement. So I book my calendar out a year in advance. This is also how I know this works, with significant percentage being returning clients. So I've been doing this for almost 10 years. The first year that I booked my calendar out a year in advance was when my baby Marlo was born in 2014, and I have never not done it since. It works. I don't have to worry about, I have a base salary already in the hole the November before the next year, every single year. That's how I know it works. I have actual proof. I also know it works because I've helped lots of other people use this exact strategy, but those are my own benchmarks. This strategy allows you to speak directly to your ideal client in a compassionate and meaningful tone. It takes the yuck factor away. So no more saying, book me. And it just eliminates the need to do that because you have a steady flow of clients coming in the door that actually want to work with you. So with this marketing strategy, you will be answering questions, solving problems, educating, entertaining sometimes, and inspiring sometimes. And yes, all of you have an inspiring story to share. This builds the know, like, and trust factor, which creates brand evangelists. So think about some other really big brands. I love to just think outside of the photography industry. Oh, it's already 10:30. I'm gonna try to go a little faster. I like to think outside of the photography industry so that you can kind of like think about it in another way. For example, I'm on an Apple computer right now. Again, I'm not affiliated with them. Here's my AirPods. Here's my iPhone. I am an Apple brand evangelist. Have you ever seen Apple's ads? Because they don't say like the iPhone is the best phone out there. Let me give you the specs on this thing, or your AirPods are going to like be the best noise cancellation that you've ever had. No, they don't. One of my favorite ads from them was when the AirPods first came out, and it was at Christmas time, and they had these beautiful dancers like out on the street, and they were sharing. Not once did they say, buy these amazing pieces of machinery, which are actually really great, right? That's because they create a brand story and they create brand evangelists, and you can do this with your photography business. So you need to connect deeply with your why. When all of that went down during the COVID crisis, I happened to be at a big conference and I was rubbing elbows with like the best in the industry, and I was feeling like such a badass. And I had to come home early because the first outbreak was in Seattle and they were threatening to close down our borders. Now, we all know that never happened, but that was like a super scary time, right? So I fly home. I'm afraid I'm going to like get locked out of my own state to see my children. And all of a sudden I'm wearing sweats and making frozen pizza. And I was like, oh my God, like this could not be more different. Why am I even doing this? And after I wiped my tears and pulled my big girl pants up, I was like, why am I doing this? Because I know that what I'm doing matters. And the reason that I'm a photographer has nothing to do with photography. It took me a long time to get Canon to sponsor me because I'm just not a big gearhead. I really don't care about upgrading equipment. I'm here for the connection. This is my daughter when she's now 9. This is when she was just a year old. I want to capture a little piece of humanity, and I know that what I am giving to the people that let me photograph them is priceless. I know that what I do matters. I have a deep-rooted why, and that's what gets me up on the hard days, and that's what makes it easy for me to share my brand story. There should be no divide between your personal and commissioned work. A strong brand is going to instantly feel recognizable. So I'm going to show you what I mean by this. Sometimes these things are easier to show. So this is my personal work. These are my children, like a long time ago, probably 8 years ago at like 8 p.m. with an overhead light, super grainy photo. This is how I roll. You know, nothing perfect about this, right? This is my family work, perfect light, golden hour goodness in a field. This is my newborn work, one window, indoor. This is my school portrait work. This is at a preschool that I was working at. This is my Fresh 48 work in the hospital right after a baby was born. And this is my maternity work. If you come across any of these, they feel like me. They are my work. They came from my heart and they communicate my why to the type of person that I want to work with. There are a lot of mothers who would sooner put a bag over their head than let me photograph their big pregnant postpartum belly naked. I don't want to work with those people. This is who I want to work with. Notice how I didn't say that your work should look recognizable. One of the biggest mistakes that we make as photographers when we're trying to brand ourselves is we obsess over how things look. We're thinking about our logo. Logos don't matter, you guys. I don't care about your logo. It doesn't matter about your brand colors. It matters how your photography and your business makes people feel. Think about that for a minute. Think about how your work makes people feel. And is it consistent? And are you able to clearly communicate that with people? So when you communicate with, or when you interact with any part of my brand, whether it be my Instagram or my website, it all feels the same. It's consistent. My friend, somebody who I admire and I've seen speak a couple of times, Jose Villa, he says, your brand, your website, any interaction that anyone has with your brand should feel like your living room. It should be that intimate. And I've been told that my work is messy. I've been told that my work is raw. I've been told that my work is intense. Well, guess what? I'm messy, raw, and intense. That is the type of person I am. My kids are deep feelers. We got a lot of emotions in my house. We're all artists. You sing, it's me. And I want you to get that brand consistency for yourself. So you see, it is not about your gear or your lighting or your editing style. I know new photographers will be like, I don't know if I want to be like light and airy or deep and moody. All that's going to come together when you get aligned with how you want your work to feel. It's not about what packages you have or if you sell digitals or not, or if you're all inclusive. None of that matters. It's about creating connection with your art and business. It's about sustainability and consistency. Clear as mud? Am I confusing anybody? I always go over, I was trying to make this only a 30-minute webinar, but here we go. You have to create content that your people actually care about. So one of my friends, he was an educator and he said, don't blame the algorithm for your shitty content. Sorry, it's kind of true. If you're copying other people, if you're using caption templates or using other people's marketing strategies, you aren't connecting. You are not connecting. So you got to create content that your people actually care about. You have to create content that your people want to engage with. You have to create content that makes folks want to be part of your brand story. Just remember that Apple commercial that I used? Like, I wanted to be dancing on that winter morning with that hot guy, just like that woman was. And I bought those things. Now, I didn't actually buy them directly because of that reason, but that's what I'm talking about here. So what happens for me as a photographer is I'll create, work like this. This is like so aligned with my work, right? You can't even see one of the kids' faces. One's got a sucker in his mouth. Like, this is me. This is me to a T. And people will come to me and say, we don't look like the people in your portfolio. And then after I take their photos, they say, wow, I can't believe that was us. And that's because I know how people want me to make them into my art. Oopsie. So let's start connecting to your ideal client today. I'm going to tell you how you can start doing this right now. So people are going to say, do I have to be a content making machine, Elena? I only do a few shoots a month. You do not. You do not. And if you don't like social media, here's the thing. I'm going to tell you something. I actually don't rely on social media for my photography business. I rely on good search engine optimization and long-term clients. So, but either way, it all starts with the same thing, with creating content that people actually care about. You can reuse content. In fact, I always recommend it. If I have a photo that I took 5 years ago that I love, I reshare it 100 times. I don't care. If I have a good piece of content that I wrote, I reuse it all over the place. Here's another little piece that I want to tell you is that vulnerability is going to be a superpower and your community wants to see your face. Now I have a feeling, seeing as like only 5 of you are showing me your face right now, that you have a hard time with that. And we do as artists. I want to tell you a fun first tip. If you share a photo of your face today, you will get 3 times the engagement that you get on photos of your clients. Because we're all sick of all of the lack of connection in this world. And if you can create connection with your clients by showing your face and sharing something about yourself, your community will show up. You should try it. I promise. Try it and tag me. Like I'm telling you. No way, Elena, I'm not showing my face and I don't want to be vulnerable. Well, I want to challenge you to do it because it's everything. It will change everything. It will be a huge part of your marketing strategy that actually matters. We know you're a good photographer. That's the most boring thing about you. We know that. Duh. You are on there as a photographer. What is going to make me decide that I'm going to meet you somewhere or let you into my home or allow you to come to my wedding and capture one of the most important days of my life? I got to like you, right? You have to build the know, like, and trust factor. And that happens by sharing your why, sharing what you do with your people so that they trust you. Okay, so let me help you brainstorm so that you will have compassionate marketing content that you can use quickly. And this is a quick way to do it. Really quick, before I get into this, here are some things that are going to help you, that are going to be game-changing tips for you. Again, if you never work with me again, these are some really important things that I want you to know about for creating content. You have to be a content creator. There's no way to get around it as a current marketer, FYI. So first and foremost, never post in real time. Opening up your phone and trying to get a high resolution photo on there and letting a little cursor blink and typing with your thumbs is the biggest waste of time. And what will happen is you will write something lame that nobody wants to read. It won't be meaningful to anybody and it'll die on the internet and it'll be a waste of your time. And you're gonna be like, oh, I can't believe nobody liked that post. Well, it didn't mean anything to anybody. You didn't connect to anyone. So how that changes quickly is by scheduling, using an online scheduler so that you can say, okay, I'm going to write 5 posts that are going to schedule them out. They're meaningful. They hit the mark that you're trying to hit and you are able to do it. Here's my next tip, all at once. Batch working is how I run a very busy, successful business with an extreme ADHD issue. So I will say on Monday, I am going to schedule out the whole rest of the month, blog posts, Instagram, whatever. You create your own batch work schedule. Mondays are for blogging. Tuesdays are for Instagram. If you haven't heard about batch working, Google it. It's going to change your life. Another really huge tip that changes a lot of people's perspective is that you can share a photo and the words that you write can have nothing to do with that photo. It used to be in the old days of marketing, and I have been around long enough that I can say that, like my business was making over 6 figures before Instagram was even a thing. And it used to be that you could just be like, swoon, and look how cute my clients are. And then every one of your followers would see that. Well, that doesn't happen anymore. So now you can and it also used to be believed that you should share, like, at this session, we frolicked through the field and blah, blah. Nobody cares about that. That's boring. Nobody wants to know about that. So the words that you share can have nothing to do with the photos. And you can go hit up my Instagram, Facebook, blog. It's all public and see what I'm talking about here. Oh, sorry, guys. Dogs are here. That is the reality of a live webinar. The other thing that you can do is you can reuse old content. And I recommend reusing old content. So if you're not a high volume photographer, it's okay to use older photos as long as they're portfolio worthy. All right. So here is how you're going to craft content that people actually care about quickly. So you want to start with 5 questions that you can answer for your current and future clients. So this is where you can avoid the vulnerability piece and just think about questions that your clients have. Think about questions that you're getting. If you don't have a what to wear post on your blog yet, well, you should do that now. That's an easy one. What to wear, what time of day is my session going to be? Should I choose an in-home or in-studio newborn session? How do I deal with a fussy toddler at golden hour? I don't know. How do I pick a wedding dress that's going to be, deal with it, be in alignment with the seasons? I'm just throwing a few out there. You can easily come up with 5 questions, correct? And if you want me to, I can send you this the slides so you can have all this. You don't have to feverishly write it down. Now, think of 5 personal problems that your clients may be having right now. So for me, I am very in touch with my ideal client, and my ideal client is so in alignment that most of the times I'm going to tell you, like with my newborn clients, super often they're natural birthers or home birthers. They are grappling with being a really busy working mom who also wants to be an attachment parent. So I can really get in their head about those problems. I talk a lot about how having a newborn is one of the most amazing times and also one of the most difficult times, where that's pretty aligned for me. When you see the moms that are like in a white gown with a baby up by their face right here, that photographer is probably not talking about how hard it is to have a newborn, because they're romanticizing it, right? I'm like, this is hard. You're home with a baby and all of a sudden you're sweating and there's fluid coming out of every orifice of your body. The baby's crying all the time. You're trying to make dinner. It's a whole thing. That's the kind of client I'm looking for. So what personal problems can you think about that your client might be having right now? It's summertime. They maybe have kids at home and they're trying to decide what to do with their kids at home all the time. One of my mastermind students just wrote an incredible blog piece about local splash pads in our area to help her families who have kids at home that they're tired of entertaining. So it doesn't have to be about photography. Now think of 2 personal stories that you want to share that are directly related to your why. If you don't know what your why is yet, that's okay, but you should start thinking about it. Because as Simon Sinek says, people do not buy what you're selling, they buy why you're selling it. Oh, my dogs. Sorry, guys. So what are 2 personal stories that you can share that will help someone say, this person cares about me? They care about taking pictures for a lot more reason than that fancy camera they have. Your why has to be personal and deep-rooted. You can be personal and still remain very private. So I have 4 children. I never share about their lives. I share about my experience with motherhood, but 3 of them are teenagers now. This is an old photo. They don't want me to share about their lives. It's not their job to make my business successful, right? So I am extremely private, actually, but I do share about my experience with motherhood. And I do share about things that are going to connect with my clients. So you can find a way to be personal and private. So using those pain points and personal stories, turn those into blog posts. And once you write a blog post, that's a long form piece of content that you can take the actual pieces of that blog post and schedule Instagram posts, Facebook posts, Pinterest posts, wherever you like to show up. It actually doesn't matter where you share. What matters is that you are sharing. So that is probably the biggest downfall of most photographers, is they're like, I don't know why this isn't working. I'm like, well, you aren't anywhere. Nobody's going to share about your business. I have long-term clients who I've been photographing for over 10 years, and I've never photographed any of their family members or friends. I don't know if it means that they haven't shared about my business with their family. I don't know, but they're long-term clients. So your job is to share about your business. If you do this work right now, you can have months worth of content planned. So we have too short of a time together for you to actually answer all these questions, the 5 questions, the 5 personal problems, and the 2 personal stories. If we would say that you wanted to make yourself a goal of blogging once a month, that is a year's worth of content right there. A year. I'm literally giving it to you. But like I told you, most times only about 50% of the people that I speak to take my advice. So be a doer. So here's a couple examples. This is a blog post. Can special props be used during my newborn photo shoot? This is a very tactical one. Back to this one. What are 5 questions that your clients have? Clients ask me this, can I bring props? No, the answer is no. Just kidding. But it actually is no for me. So it's important that I share that. It's important that I educate. And this is how you attract and repel as well. If you're a person that wants a proppy newborn shoot, you should go to a photographer who's going to give that to you, because you deserve to get what you want. You shouldn't come to me. So you have to be able to attract and repel. This is a really big part of my marketing strategy, is to connect to the mothers that I photograph and to let them know that they're not only a mother. I like to empower my women that I photograph. And so this is me, but I know the struggle of when you become a mother, you lose yourself a little bit. And so I like to connect with my moms in that place. You're more than a mother. That's okay. You don't have to just be a mother, and I'm going to capture it for you. So that's a problem. That's a personal problem that my ideal client is experiencing. I get that in their head. Compassionate marketing is a long-term strategy. This is not a quick fix. And somebody who tells you that they can give you a quick fix strategy is lying to you. They're absolutely lying to you. You have to do the work to figure out who you are as an artist, what it is that you do that sets you apart, and who it is you want to work with. If you start showing up for your business, it will show up for you. So I can help you. I can help you with marketing and pricing and systems and so much more. I have a mastermind. I have a long-term group coaching program that is 5 months long that has turned people's lives around. And it helps me to get much more in depth with this very, very important way of running your business, a way that is meaningful, that is profitable. And I'm going to share a little bit about that with anyone who would like to hear about it, but I'm going to open it up for questions first, and then I will get into some more information about my mastermind. I will leave a link though. If you have questions, just go ahead and raise your hand. That would be the best thing to do. And I'm going to try to just put this in the chat really quick. Yeah. And I always miss questions in the chat. So does anyone have any questions about what I just talked about compassionate marketing, about creating your own strategy? Anyone? Bueller? No? Okay, if you don't, I'm going to go in over to starting to talk about the mastermind.
I had a quick question.
Oh, good.
Sorry.
Oh, I'm glad
I
you
couldn't
did
figure out how to raise my hand.
That's
So
perfect. No, good.
here I am. So I'm really new. Like, I went live, if you will, or public on May 5th with all of my photography stuff.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's been terrifying and exciting all at the same time. I'm in a really small area. I'm in Southwest Virginia. So I'm from originally Philadelphia, but I've lived here probably longer than there now. My biggest question is, I've heard so many people with their business being, several years in, and they have huge followings. And so I feel like when they're putting content out, it's landing on more eyes, which means naturally, typically, if they've been organically grown, that they have more likelihood of getting booked and getting business from those platforms. I never really used social media a whole lot before. I was probably more the stalker. Like, I just kind of watch everybody else's lives passively. So this has really forced me to kind of up my game and really start creating content.
Yep.
But what that also means is that my followings are very small. So both Facebook and Instagram, which are the two places I'm using, are under 100 followers currently in my business groups. And I have used my personal groups to share about my business to try to grow that way. So my question is, this has all been extremely helpful and has really helped me figure out some things that will be helpful moving forward. But I keep struggling with, how do I just grow a following in general? Because I feel like the same people are seeing the same
All right,
things.
Rebecca, I'm going to interrupt you. So you remember what I said, a following isn't going to make you have a successful business. In fact, when I look at the inquiries that I receive, we get about 5 to 10 inquiries a week during this busier time of the year. 90% of them come from Google. So what your do not obsess, and I'm not saying that you are, but a lot of new photographers do this because you get in the game and you exactly what you just said. Oh, well, all those people have all these followers and all this experience. The truth is, relying on social media is relying on Mark Zuckerberg to you're giving him the control. We don't have control of those algorithms. What you do have control over is the content that you create and the connection that you can make with a smaller group of people. So in the mastermind, I will help. We work a lot on search engine optimization. So people finding you on Google. And then we work on how you can create almost like the handshake on your social media platforms. But what usually happens, and why a lot of people fail at social media, is that they're basically just screaming at the internet. You don't know who it is you're trying to connect with. And imagine this. So you just said, I have less than 100 followers. if you did 100 sessions this year, Rebecca, you would be on the floor. It would be too many sessions, probably. I mean, depends on your business model. So imagine if you owned a restaurant and you just opened the doors to your restaurant and you did such an amazing job of creating this beautiful menu, and the space is incredible, and the service inside that restaurant is just top notch. And you have 2 tables filled. And instead of serving those 2 tables, you're out on the street trying to get more people in. You're like, come in. I need more clients. I'm going to fill up this restaurant. And you give shitty service to those people that are at the table. They're never going to come back. You're not creating a brand evangelist. You're not creating a strong know, like, and trust factor. So instead of focusing on bringing more people in, focus on how you can really serve the ones that are there really, really well. And I know that you're like, well, I need those 2 tables. I don't even have those yet. You might be at that earlier stage too. And that's where the branding piece is really important. You just opened in May. You are you're building it right now, and you will figure all of that out, but start making sure that you really know how you want your brand to feel, how you want your work to feel, and that is consistent. And then you're able to communicate that consistently. You should definitely apply for my mastermind. Okay.
Thank you. I did.
Oh, good. Okay. Recently, yeah. Okay, good. So I want to tell you a little bit about my group coaching program, because like I said at the beginning, I want you to start marketing yourself, whether you join or not, but I'm going to tell you about my mastermind. And I rarely talk about pricing or anything unless you're interviewing. And I'm going to talk about that here. So it is a one-of-a-kind group coaching program. I have helped 131 photographers from all over the world level up their business. I grabbed this screenshot today because I want you to know that my alumni sing my praises. She just posted this today without me asking them to. I don't pay them. I don't have an affiliate program. I'm not making this up. I'm not here to scam anybody. I am here to change people's lives. And I mean that. I know that this is my life's work because I believe that photography is the catalyst to a life of freedom. I used to be a nurse. I was on someone else's schedule. I was always freaking living paycheck to paycheck when I was a nurse. And when I became a photographer, I was able to become my own boss, to build a business that meant something to me. And I believe to capture a little piece of humanity. So this is Nikki. She shared this today. And she said that it's safe to say that the mastermind experience has irrevocably changed my life and my business. So I just grabbed this today because I wanted to show you that people are just sharing about it out of the kindness of their heart, because it really, really works. We meet every single week for 5 months, 5 solid months, and you will get extremely close to your community, and you have me there to coach you live. We end with an in-person retreat that has become industry recognized, which I'm really, really proud of, because for a small event, it's rare to have this kind of recognition. We're sponsored by Canon, Miller's, Click & Company, Image Salon, Color Inc., Honeybook, B&H Photo, Rangefinder. That doesn't happen for small communities. I'm very, very proud of this. And the reason is because they see that we are working photographers. Those of us that have smaller businesses, we deserve recognition. So I'm really, really proud of that piece. The retreats are really designed to strengthen your community and inspire your artistry, solidify your purpose. So after 5 months of working together, you get a free ticket to my in-person retreat that has become an industry-wide recognized event. So my mission as an educator is to help people around the world create meaningful lives and businesses, with photography being the medium they use to do this. Some will do this by starting their own businesses, and some will do this by developing their own artistic vision. We do this through our online courses, online Facebook communities, blog, video, both live and recorded, and the mastermind, of course. So I am here to better the lives of photographers, and I mean that. So here's where I talk about investment. I don't normally talk about investment in bigger groups. We only have 5 spots left in the mastermind right now, so I am going to share. It is $4,000 if you pay in full, and it's $5,000 if you choose to do payments. And when you become a member, you get full access to all of my courses that I have available, which is like a $2,000 value right there. And you get to come to the mastermind retreat, which is, the tickets are between $800 and $1,000 for alumni, depending on the venue that we use. So this investment is big for a lot of people, and everyone will say that the investment, that they earned it back, and that the monetary investment was, what they got was far beyond what they invested. Everyone says that. But here is some details about the experience. So we meet weekly via Zoom. We always meet, it's actually Tuesdays. This next group is going to be Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Pacific time. You get a 1-hour one-on-one call with me where we go over your brand, anything that you want me to look at, website, portfolio, etc. We work on all of the branding and marketing pieces that you need in order to have a long-term solid brand. We talk about pricing for profitability. I'm not going to sit here and say, you should do in-person sales or you should be all-inclusive. No, I'm going to help you develop a pricing structure that means something to you that is in alignment with your ideal client and that is profitable. That's the most important piece. I'm going to help you teach you how to avoid burnout, because what's the point if you're not going to be here in 5 years because you burned out? I will teach you how to create a sustainable and meaningful legacy brand. We do a lot of mindset work in my mastermind. I'm actually a certified life coach. It's really important to me that you not only have a meaningful and profitable business, but that you feel like you have grown as a person. We have accountability pods and partners, private Slack channel for your cohort, which is basically like an online forum and unmatched community support. I cannot sing the praises of my community enough. These women and men, now we have men too, we have had men in the mastermind and it works really well, stand behind each other in a way that is far beyond what I could have ever dreamed. They're doing collaborations together. They do family vacations together. They support each other's dreams, goals, everything. It's just incredible. It is just like I said, it's grown beyond what I could have imagined. Here's a sample schedule. This is kind of an older one, but we basically, it's about the same every time. I add different things. And I always bring in different guest speakers as well. We have 3 to 4 industry experts that come in that are different than me every single time. It all builds on each other. We start on goal setting and vision setting. We get all of the foundations of marketing that are insanely important. We talk about profitability. We build your client journey pre and post session so that your business is running like a well-oiled machine. We talk about search engine optimization because it's so important. I teach you how to make your photography website into something that works for you and brings in clients. And the thing about search engine optimization is that it's not relying on trends. It has been the same for 13 years, which is the good news. And we talk about money. I want you to start thinking like a CEO. I bring in a bookkeeper, a retirement expert, so that you can start thinking about how to not only be profitable, but then manage the money that you're going to bring in. And we talk about money in a way that is not stigmatized so that you are in an abundant mindset. We do talk about social media marketing. We talk about email marketing. Sometimes we talk about Pinterest, depending on the group. It is everything that you need to have a successful photography business. The retreat experience, you don't have to come to the retreat. Your ticket is included. Almost everyone comes. It is a carefully curated group of educators. I bring in speakers. We have a headshot exchange party so that you have branding material. If you haven't gone to look at my Instagram highlights, I had a retreat last week. It was a massive success. The headshot exchange party is so much fun. You will get 1 million headshots from myself and everyone else that attends. It's really fun. Within the talks, there's inspirational talks, there's marketing talks. We do photo shoots together. We have a wellness specialist who leads mindful experiences like sound baths, breath work, or meditation, just depending on the group. And there are shared meals to inspire community until team building exercises. Your retreat, if you apply and you get accepted, the next retreat is going to be in Palm Springs, California on January 30th and 31st at the Ace Hotel. Here are just a couple spreads of some of the photos that were made during some of our group photo shoots at some of the last retreats. There have been many, many more. Again, the headshot exchange party is so fun because everyone leaves with headshots, which most of us don't have enough. You can't get enough headshots. Some of the demographics from my members, I'm proud to say that my membership is global and that the global members do come to the retreats too, which is pretty cool. Most identify as female. However, we have welcomed our first male members into the cohort that we just finished, and they were great. They loved it. Ages are 28 to 55. We have 30 to 40 members with each group, and over 70% of the mastermind members are exclusive Canon users. That doesn't matter, but some attendee success statistics. I know that people want to know, how do I know this is going to work? By the way, nobody should guarantee you anything because guarantees are lies. I really believe that. but all are having personal transformations. So many will say that they transform in ways that they didn't believe possible, which makes me so happy. All have a brand that is updated and aligned to attract dream clients. Their work is more consistent and artistically aligned. Almost everyone increases their prices after working with me. Some will say that they've doubled their income. That got them to like $30,000, while some have had massive increases and they are above 100 or even 200,000 in revenue. We've had 5 members who went above 200,000 revenue while members in the mastermind. All learn the skills needed to book consistent, high quality clients many months in advance. All will learn templates, systems, and processes to run a well-organized and profitable business. Each member leaves with a solid marketing strategy, important. And everyone has a massive elevation in confidence and self-worth. You can't run a business with low self-worth and lack of confidence. So we work a lot on that. I bring in industry experts, but one thing I really like to do as well is to bring in speakers that are up and comers to give them that platform so that their businesses can also, as educators, can grow. I have a level 2 mastermind, and so I bring in some of my level 2 members to speak to my community to give them that leg up. So it's pretty fun to bring in speakers. These are just some of them from past. Now we're getting to where we have a laundry list of speakers. So if you are interested in working with me on a very deep level and seeing massive change in your business, you should definitely apply to the mastermind. And I see some of you here that I've already interviewed before. So if you're still here getting education from me and you haven't accepted one of your invitations to be a member, I think this is your time to do it. Thank you. Someone just said, do the mastermind. See if Kristen's here, one of my alumni. She said it's unsolicited. I didn't even know she was going to be here. That is, I always, I say that because I want you to believe it's your job to go do the due diligence and see what students are saying. And if you go to my website, sure, I'm going to pick the students that I know were happy, but I have students who just sing my praises without me asking. And it's because it's a magical thing. What we're doing with my mastermind is really changing lives, and makes me very proud. So if you're curious about it, you should definitely apply. I linked the mastermind page there. The applications we only have 5 spots left, so we're about full. I'm doing some interviews today, so we're going to fill up pretty quick. And we start in July. It's going to be really fun. Any questions about the mastermind, that all of you that are still hanging on? So you're here because you're curious. So don't be afraid to ask me. Now's your time. I don't usually share pricing publicly. I don't usually share any of this until you get to the stage of interview. So this is your opportunity to ask me. Anything?
I have a question for you. That's
Yeah.
okay. I was wondering what your timeline was for the next cycle. Yeah, I'm really interested. I know it's like twice a year, but I wanted to be sure I knew about the exact timing.
Because you're not ready to do it right now.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm just getting going, and I want to. I feel like you don't know what you don't know, and I want to get the most out of it possible.
Yeah. And just so you know, we have many who are just getting started, who have no websites, who are at that stage. And we have some who are in it for 10 years. And that's actually what makes a mastermind cool, is that you get the combination of like the new eyes and the experienced ones, and everyone sort of like puts it into a container and it becomes massive growth for everybody. But I run it twice a year as of now. I don't make any guarantees that I will always do that. Sometimes I think I would maybe like to only do it once a year because it's a huge energy expenditure, but I will open up, if we open it up for next winter, applications will come again in the fall. So it'll be right. So we're about to close up for this second part of this year, and then it'll be the end of this year for the beginning of next. You just make sure you're on my mailing list, and you'll be the first to know.
Thank you.
Welcome. Anyone else? Questions? I'm telling you, you guys are being quiet. You're here because you're curious. So ask me your questions. I don't usually talk openly about this stuff. So now it's time. If you have questions about marketing too, I'm happy to answer questions about marketing. Yes.
Elena, I have a question. Do you love Image Salon? I was thinking about using them.
I do love Image Salon. I've been working with Image Salon since they first started, so I have an affinity to them. I haven't tried AI editing yet because I know that that's like all the rage right now, but because I love my relationship with them. They're just a really good company too, really good people.
Okay.
That's my favorite thing about conferences, is I like to go and meet the people that run the companies that I'm using, and they're just a really great group of people.
Yeah, I just want to find more time to actually be shooting. And it's that process of all the images and dealing with that to get to clients, deliverables, you know, if you will, for weddings. And I love doing it, but I need to let go of that control and still create and do my thing.
Yep.
I'm just wondering, is it easy to find a way to, I don't know, do you work personally with them a little bit? Do you find this
100%.
personal kind of connection with them to be like, hey, this is,
Yep.
like, I don't know, a certain
You get,
style?
so
or certain-
there's different tiers, different packages. For
Okay.
me, I like to have a editor. So like I've been with them, gosh, it's probably been like 6 years now. And I'm only on my 3rd editor. So once I get one that I will pay the little bit extra to have that like same editor. So I feel like she's like a team member for me.
Gotcha.
You do you can do a consulting call first where like they'll edit photos live for you of your own work so that you can
Okay.
like, and then they set up a color profile for you and all that kind of stuff. And then now 9 out of 10 times, 9.5 out of 10 times, it's perfect. Once in a while, I'll get one back and I'm like, you know, the skin tones don't look great on this. And then she'll fix it for me. So
Gotcha. Okay. I love that. That's what I wanted to know.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Thank
yes.
you.
It's like having a team member. It's
Okay.
it's one of the, if you're getting to be high volume and you can afford it, outsourcing your editing will change your life. It
Yeah.
really-
All right.
Yeah.
I'm cooking
Tell
eggs.
them
I'm
I-
gonna mute here. Hold on. My
tell them
son
I-
needs to
yeah.
eat.
Anyone else? And the investment is always the reason that I don't talk about it until the interview is because what a lot of people do is they look at the money and they say, am I worth it? They don't think about all of the other factors that are important about your business and what your business deserves as far as an investment goes. So I have been in 2 high-level masterminds as a student and invested $20,000+ in each one. So I know what this feels like to take that leap when you feel like it's going to be a huge piece of your pie. And what I can say with confidence now, after having worked successfully with 131 people, is that the transformations in their businesses and lives that we see happen are remarkable. And it, you know, when I first started, I was like, I wonder if this were, do I really know what I'm talking about? Like imposter syndrome is real for all of us. Like, I hope I can really get results for other people. And now I know that I can. I know I can with confidence. So very much so. But if you are on the fence about it, and like I said, we do payment plans. So you don't have to pay in full. A down payment of $800 is due. If we get you to interview phase, we'll talk more about this, but $800 is due. And then the payments start coming out in July. I forget what they are. I'd have to look, but payments come out, they're reasonable payments. And like I said, 131 people, and we're seeing from all over the world. That's the other cool thing too. It's like, it's not just like one part of the country or one part of the planet. Marketing and business is marketing and business, no matter where you live. And I want you to have a business that you actually give a damn about. Because the more meaningful photographers we have out there, the better our world will be, I think. All right, any other questions? Yeah, Beth.
Hi, I just wanted to ask you a question about when you were transitioning from nursing to your business. When did you get to a point, or how did you handle like losing the benefits that you would have had, you know, health insurance, et cetera, through the hospital or wherever you were nursing, and then being able to earn enough to pay for that and make it make sense on your own?
Such a good question, Beth. Okay, so by the way, just on that point, we have one of the common memberships is women with full-time jobs that are thinking about doing exactly what you're doing. And in one group, we had an accountant and a pharmacist and an HR specialist quit within the 5 months that we were together because they had everything figured out. So I know exactly where you are, and I'm going to try not to just get too like coachy on you right now, but I will a little bit. But we in the United States, that if you didn't grow up with a parent who was an entrepreneur, you know, you think like the American dream is all you can hope for, right? It's like we should have a mortgage and a job with a retirement plan and benefits. And so that's one piece where you have to change your mindset and realize that actually when you ditch that ideal, you can start planning for yourself. And even though you have to pay a little more for benefits, you're actually going to make more money. So there's that piece. I just want to tell you that. But when I was doing it, so I am a 100% dual income household. Living in Seattle is very expensive. And at the time, back in 2014, I was, my ex-husband was in the he was an athletic director, so not making a whole lot of money. So I had to match my salary, and I also carried the insurance. So what I did was, I talked to, and again, we coach you guys on this in the mastermind if this is part of your goals, but I talked to an insurance broker. That was like the safest way for me to do it. I would give you tips on how to find one that was able to help me, price like he was an expert, and that you pay them very little to do this for you. Help me price out the different options that I had based on the 1,000 children that I have 3, but it feels like 1,000, all the kids and like our ages and whatever. So he helped me with that. So I budgeted it up. And then I made a goal, an income goal for myself. So I had to match my salary in order to leave my job as a nurse. And sometimes I think about how insane that year was, because I also had a newborn, but I was a little younger than I am now. And so I will help you do that. You have to craft a plan that makes sense. I would never recommend that someone who's relying on their current income, that they just like say goodbye to it and cross their fingers that things are going to work. So I had, I had like, okay, I need this much reliability and this much predictability. And that's when I went to the model of booking my calendar out a year in advance, when I learned how to do that. So then I knew, okay, if I only have a year, at least this year, if it doesn't work after this year, I can always go back to being a nurse. I also talk a lot in a mastermind about how you diversify revenue streams. So if you're going to be a CEO, you can't have a slow season, or at least you have to have a plan for the slow season. And so we talk about diversifying your revenue so that your winter months or whatever are slower are made up. So anyway, we talk about all that stuff a lot. And that's how I did it. I was very strategic. I make 3 times as much as I would have as a nurse, in my photography business. Not this part. I'm talking about like the actual taking pictures part, because I have the school segment as well. So the school segment makes a lot of money. It's been less now because I don't need to do as many schools anymore. We only did 3 schools last year, but I used to do like 5 to 8 schools, and that made, 6 figures all by itself.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome. So you have a high needs toddler and a husband who's frequently traveling for work. I am highly interested, but concerned about making the most of it. Do you see other members in this type of situation? Do I see other members in that type of situation? Yes. And why is that? I don't know who that is. Britt, I don't see your face, but I'm going to just answer. I hope you're still here. Okay. There you are. Oh, this is one of the mindset parts that I really get into. So we, as women, I think we've got some men in this room right now, but I do, 9 out of 10 of my mastermind, most of my mastermind people are women. We are caretakers, and we have this burning desire. We're like, gosh, I really want to make this a successful business. Does that make sense? Because I am the main caretaker, right? I am the one. So first thing I'm going to say to you, whether you join or not, is that you deserve to put time into your business, even if it's just for yourself, even if it's just to give you something that's outside of being a caretaker. So just feel okay with that. Secondly, yes, we have a lot of, and what people who have that situation feel like when they join the mastermind is what it does is it finally gives them the focus point that they need. So it's like, okay, every Tuesday from 10 to 12, my meetings are 2 hours. I am going to carve out time for this, whether that be well-used screen time. I'm going to let my toddler watch that movie that I only let them watch once a week, or whether it be that I'm going to actually have a agreement with grandma to come in or whatever. So that's how people handle the childcare piece. It also, the community part is what really helps when you are the main caregiver like that feels like you're like, I'm doing all the things and my husband's always traveling, where now you have a group of people who are probably in a very similar situation than you. And that helps you to actually do the work that you say you're going to do. So whether it be making an agreement with him when you're in town, I need Saturday mornings to leave and go to a coffee shop and work on my business or whatever. So we talk a lot about that kind of stuff. You will be able to get everything that you need out of it. But it's only a 1 to 2 hour commitment as far as like the actual live calls a week. And then what you do on top of that is up to you. It's a very common demographic, not surprising, seeing as that's who I am. I'm reading it. So Davina, I'm not gonna, I got your private direct message. Why don't you send me, if you already interviewed, I want to answer that to you. So I'm trying to think of the best way for you to reply to me. Send me an email here. I'm going to send me an email and I will I will chat with you about that, because we are willing to help work with payment plans to make the payments a digestible number. So just send me an email. If you already interviewed, then I already think that you're a good fit. So you do not need to reapply for sure. But let's talk. So when do you officially stop taking students? I stop when I get to the max number that I'm willing to take, which is we are anywhere from like 30 to 38, depending on the application pool. I've never been higher than 38. So we're at like 32 right now. All right, I'm just gonna make sure that I'm not missing any other questions. Davina, did you get that? Send me that email, okay? And I will ELE. Oh my God, I spelled my name wrong. Let me send it again.
I got your email. I mean, I have your email from previous, so I can repeat
Okay.
it too. Thank you.
Good. Send me an email and I'll talk to you about all of those details. That we can definitely work with you.
Okay.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions? And this is, if you're enjoying this, this is what our meetings are like. So I teach for the first hour, and then we go back and forth about the actual topic at hand. And then often we go into what individuals are working on. So if that's like, we're done talking, someone's like, all right, I tried this and it didn't work. And then we like all collaborate. And that's what's really awesome about a mastermind. I am not the only person that can give advice in this room right here that we're with together. Right here, there are 50 very capable humans. And whether you've been in business for 2 minutes or 10 years, you have life experience to bring to the table. One of our past members, Nesa, has 6 children. She is a master at time management, a master. And so when we would be like lamenting about time management, she's like, whip us into shape. You know, she had this like such a superpower. And that's every one of us has something to bring to the table. That's what's really cool about a mastermind. So a lot of people, you don't have a website yet. How to begin the process? How much does that cost on average? So it just depends on the service that you choose. And if you join the mastermind, we make recommendations on who we think are the best ones to use, but usually it's about $200 a year. I would say it really just depends on, I really don't recommend the lower level ones that are cheaper because you will have to upgrade eventually. So the 2 that I recommend, and I get $0 from them to do this, are Squarespace and Show It. And it's mostly because their user interface is really intuitive. You want something that's easy to use, unless you're like a coder, which I know I'm not. And they are the easiest to optimize for search engine. So those will be the 2 that and we do have lots of members who don't have, some have 10 years experience and have websites that are up and running and need a lot of revamping. And we have ones that are brand new. So if you choose to apply, we do help you with that. Anyone, even myself, could benefit from updating their website like every 6 months. And so there's something to learn always. Beth.
You talk about Google Ads, Elena. Do you talk about like whether you recommend?
I do not use ads for my photography business, and I rarely believe that it's worth it. And again, it's back to that piece where if you're getting advice from super entrepreneurs, like if you're the self-help person like me who listens to like all the podcasts about marketing and what's et cetera, those people are teaching to people who need audiences of thousands. So when I'm thinking about my education platform, for example, yeah, I do want to reach thousands of people from all over the world. When I'm thinking about my actual photography business, I only want to photograph about 100 humans a year. Actually, like I said, I'm getting down to like 70. So that's not very many people. When you go to the ad space, I think it's a waste of money for your photography business. I have strategies that are free. I've never paid $1 for marketing for my photography business. And I'm not lying when I say that. What happens when you do that, it works for bringing in clients who need photos right then, which is fine. That works. Okay. So you fill a mini session day. Great. That's going to make you a couple $1,000s. Sure. You can do that if you want, if you need to. There's no harm in like needing to make a few $1,000s, but that strategy, those clients are not going to be long-term clients. My strategy will help you bring in clients that come in year after year after year. So I don't talk about ads because I think they're a waste for most people. And the reason that I think they're a waste as well is that the only way to really effectively use ads is if you're highly trained. So Google, Facebook, they want you to waste money. They want you to just like, when they're like, boost this post, you literally just lit $20 on fire. You actually did, because you didn't target the right people. Now, if you learn how to use Google ads and Facebook ads, which we do for my education platform, you learn how to target people directly. It's really actually not intuitive and not easy to do. So that's my long answer. No, I spend $0. You don't need to spend money to find 50 people. You don't.
Thank you. Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. I really think it's usually a waste of money. Usually. I mean, if you are, if again, if I'm not the end all, so if there's someone that's using it effectively, great, congratulations. I'm proud of you, but that's not what I teach because I don't think that it's worth it. All right, I have been on for 1 hour and 23 minutes. I do hope that those of you that are here, because I can tell that you're curious about it, that you apply. Just apply. Go see what the application is all about. And if I think that you're at a good place, that will allow me to know if I think I should interview you. And if I do, then let's talk. And Davina, send me an email and I'll talk to you about the options that we have for you. Okay. And if you haven't started marketing your business, start marketing your business. Now you have some strategies to do so. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for your time. I can't believe I stayed on so long. I thought I was going to be on for 45 minutes. It's 11:23. You guys have a great day.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Take care.